Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my bullet journal setup for 2024. I am doing this in the same journal I have been using. I'm not starting a new journal because I have plenty of space left in this one, but I am just going to kind of put in a few spreads for the beginning of the year goals and whatnot. And I just thought, you know what? Let's have you come along. How about you can witness it with me? So I was inspired by this post that I saw on Pinterest that is from Instagram, and I cannot remember exactly what the creator's name was right now, but I will put it in my description box because I did get this inspiration from them. And basically it's just this kind of like serif-y, swirly, colorful font, I guess, with some twinkly lights and just like little doodles and things. Pretty simple, but I think it just turned out super fun and cute, and you can use whatever colors you want with this. I went with some tans and greens, and I really like how that turned out. So what you're seeing me do here is just set up my cover page. I decided not to go for a yearly calendar this year just because I felt like it might kind of take up some unnecessary space for me because I don't really use the yearly calendar, and I wanted to be able to focus on spreads that I was going to use more so than spreads that are just there to be there, I guess. I've mentioned this in monthly setups before. I will include a monthly calendar even though I don't use it a ton, but a yearly one just seems like a little too much work for not a lot of payoff, if you know what I mean. So I just jumped right into my goals page. This one is right next to my 2024 spread that you just saw me make, and I really wanted to think about what kind of goals I want to set for myself this year. So right now you're just seeing me set up the header for the spread. Again, I just kind of used this like serif-y font that's a little bit swirly, and I just used my Tombow dual brush pens to create it. I didn't want to use a black outline because I wanted it to be a little bit softer, and so you will see me use this same technique throughout the whole setup to make this font. And then, of course, you know, I had to add in some little extra doodles and things. So my main goal with these goal pages is to be able to break down my goals in an effective way and really think about what I want to accomplish and not make it too stressful for myself. So one thing that I do every single year is I choose a word of the year. I haven't picked the word for 2024 yet. I try to be very intentional with it because it has come true for me every single year I've done it. I think I've done it since 2019, I want to say, maybe 2020. And it's just come true for me in so many crazy ways that I try to be really intentional with which word I pick. For example, this year my word was gather, and I ended up moving in with my in-laws and getting pregnant with another baby, which I feel like is just kind of gathering my family together. And so, like I said, I want to be intentional with that. And then I create goals for my health and just like personal life. And that can include crafting goals, that can include spiritual goals, you know, kind of whatever I feel like. But here's where I write down my general ideas. Then on this next page, which you'll see me set up here, I want to break down each of these goals. And so I created these goal breakdown spreads. I have done this in the past where I've done it a little bit more broadly, I guess, where I did goal breakdowns, but I didn't do it by month. And this year I thought it would be fun to break it down by month. So I'll create these general goals for the year in my personal and health categories, and then each month I'll come back to this spread and I'll write down actionable items that I can do to reach those goals. Because the whole thing with goals is that you make one big goal and then you make little goals to help you get to that big goal. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. I want to break it down for myself in a way that's going to be easy and effective, which is why I decided to do it month by month. It's not something I've done before, but I think it's something that will be really helpful for me. So I'm just putting 6 months on each page and splitting it in half. There is a column for personal and a column for health. And so that way I have ample space to write down my actionable items for how I want to create these goals. I'm just making sure to add lots of sparkles and little dots and things to each page just to, snazz it up. Here I am labeling each month. I decided to do this little font that I've been doing here for the monthly labels, and to be honest, I kind of regretted it just because I feel like it looks a little bit muddled just because of how small the letters are, and so it was hard for me to get in with a lot of detail. If I had used say like a smaller nibbed fine liner versus this Sharpie S-Gel pen, then I might have been able to get some more detail with it, but I wanted to keep it simple with the supplies that I was using for this. So I wasn't going to go try and find one of my really fine tipped markers just to do this one little section in the setup. So yeah, I do kind of regret doing the serif font right here, but I think it's still fun overall, even if it is a little more muddled than I would like it to be. Okay, so this next spread that I'm going to be setting up is a section to write down and track my YouTube goals. Now, I do YouTube as a hobby. It's something that I just do for fun. I don't have enough subscribers or watch hours to make any money from this, but I'm not going to lie to you and pretend like I wouldn't want to make money from doing something that I enjoy. Obviously, everybody would like to do that, right? Everyone wants to make money based on just like the fun things that they like. And for me, YouTube is one of those fun things that I like. So I have these general goals of how I want to improve my YouTube, but I often see it in a similar way that I see, improving, say, my knitting or my sewing abilities. I want to get better at it because it's something that I enjoy. I also want to get better at it because I want to create content that you enjoy as my audience members. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from when it comes to creating these YouTube goals. So the kind of boxes I'm creating here for myself, the first one is just a question box for myself to reflect. How am I unique? What am I bringing to YouTube that's different from somebody else? And how can I use that to make my content compelling and interesting and fun to watch? That's just a little reflection that I would like to do for myself, so I put a little space in here for me to do that. The next one that I did is just general goals, general things that I would like to improve about my YouTube channel. The next one is just some statistics for the beginning of the year. I just think it's really fun to include this because I like seeing how far I've come. Last year at the beginning of the year of 2023, I had about 70 subscribers. Right now, when I'm filming this video, I have 193, and I think that's super awesome, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. And yeah, that number does seem small comparatively to a lot of other YouTubers or content creators out there, but to me, I'm just excited that 193 people would even care about anything I have to say. And so that's how I approach these. Now, the boxes here that I'm making at the bottom are little trackers. I would like to get to 500 subscribers and 500 watch hours by the end of the year. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to do that. We'll see. We'll see how things go for me. It's not something that I'm going to beat myself up over if I don't reach that goal, but it's just a fun way for me to track my progress and see how I'm doing. And, if I get that many subscribers and that many watch hours, then heck yes. And if not, like I said, YouTube is something that I do for fun because I genuinely enjoy it. So I just wanted to be clear with how I'm approaching these goals for YouTube because it's different for everybody. The next spread that I'm creating is a things I want to create spread. I'm a crafty gal, you guys. I really am. I love crafting. I love all sorts of crafting, and I just thought it would be fun to have a place to write down some of my crafting ideas, but then also log the ones that I have finished. And so that's what this is for. So I'm right now, obviously, just creating a nice little header for it. Again, using that same serif font and my Tombow dual brush pens to create that header. And then I will be splitting this page up in half. One side will be project ideas and one side will be a project log. That way I can just, for example, I am knitting a baby blanket for my son who is due in March. So when I finish his baby blanket, I will write down baby blanket for boy and the date that I finish it. That way it's just like, oh yeah, I can look back. Oh, that was a fun thing that I created at this point in time. And it will just be a way for me to remember and see the creativity that I've had throughout the year. Okay, so this next spread is a reading tracker. I made this in my bullet journal for last year as well. Basically, I just create little squares, I number each of them, and then when I read a book, I will just highlight a square to signify that I read that many books. So my reading goal for this year is going to be 60 books. My 2023 goal was also 60 books. As of now, when I'm filming this, I have read 77. So I have gone above my goal. And, when I was thinking about what I wanted my reading goal to be for this year, it was really easy. It would have been really easy for me to say, well, I surpassed my goal of 60 this year, so that means I need to up my goal for next year. That means I need to read more books next year. But I don't want to fall into that trap because I don't need to read more than 60 books. 60 books is a lot, and I think that's a fun goal, but my reading goal is to read some fun books and enjoy the books I'm reading. And so, if I'm able to do that and read a lot of books, great. If I don't end up reading tons and tons of books because I'm having my second child in 2024 and I'm sure my life will just get busier and busier, and I also have other hobbies that I enjoy, then that's okay. You don't have to read over 50 books. You don't have to read over 100 books, over 20 books. There isn't a number of books that you have to read per year to be a good reader. And I think that's something that a lot in the book community and the content creation around the book community really falls into this trap of thinking that you have to read a certain amount of books to be relevant, to know what you're talking about, or to have anything worthwhile to say. And I just disagree with that. I don't think that's true. I think even if you read one book per year, I would love to hear about your thoughts on that book. You know what I mean? And that's okay. And you should just read however much you want to. And so that's just my approach for this. And if I don't read 60 books in 2024, again, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. It's just a fun little goal that is not that big of a deal. So that's how I'm approaching these things. so now I'm just going through and numbering each box. Like I said, I just put a number in the middle. This isn't where I track which books I read. That is now this spread. So this spread that I'm creating is my 2024 bookshelf. Now, last year I did it a little bit differently where I just made a space, 60 lines basically, to write in the books that I read. Now, because I read over 60 lines, then there wasn't a space for all of the books that I read because I only made that space for 60. And so later in the year, I created my 2023 bookshelf just for fun. I didn't create a video about it or anything. And I really like the way that this works because instead of having like 60 designated lines for the 60 books I'm going to read, I just have a shelf for each month. So every single month, I'll just draw little books and write the titles of those books that I read that month. So, you know, if I read 7 books in 1 month, then I'll put that in there. If I read 2 books in 1 month, then I'll put that in there. And then I can just see overall how my reading went, how many books I read per month, and what my ratings were. You'll see here in a second, I'll create a little key up at the top. But what I do is I create a little book doodle. On the spine, I'll write what the book is, and then I'll highlight it with a color that signifies what my rating was. That way, when I'm just glancing at the spread, I can see overall, oh, okay, I've had this many 5 stars, I've had this many 3 stars, whatever. And it will just kind of show me what my reading looked like overall for the year. And it's a very simple spread to do. I mean, you just draw some rectangles. So that was all of the bullet journal spreads that I've created for this 2024 year. I am really looking forward to 2024. I am looking forward to trying new things and to having fun goals and hopefully reaching those goals. And I'm looking forward to another year of creating some really fun content here for you guys and having this community, which I've really enjoyed being a part of. Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what type of spreads you like to include in your beginning of the year setups. And if you think I missed any, if I need to go in and add one, let me know. See you guys next time. Bye!